all the things that it takes to become successful. I always like to start with this one, Jade, is you never know what's going to happen. Tomorrow ain't promised. Guess what? But guess what? We're going to act as if we're going to be here tomorrow, right? And we're going to have an abundant mentality towards growing and ending the year 2024, going into 2025. So what is it that we're going to do, right? So first one is this. The power of positive thinking. There's actually a very good book called The Power of Positive Thinking from Vincent Peale, something like that. But you know, one thing that Oprah says is the greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Have any of you ever stubbed your toe in the morning? Or if you're a parent, stepped on a Lego on your way to going to brush your teeth? Or you ever overslept your alarm and now you're all of a sudden moving with anxiety and you're on your way to work and you hit traffic and you're blaming everybody? It's like, oh my gosh, you got all this pimped up energy. And then when you get to work, then your boss is screaming at you, why are you late? And now all of a sudden you got all these work projects that are behind and you're getting this bad news and bad news and bad news. And all of a sudden you're frustrated. Well, the one thing that you can control is your attitude. Things don't happen to you. They happen for you. See, the one thing that you can control is how you react to things. I always like to have this conversation. I have friends that are, how would you say, that are like late to everything. Doesn't matter what you do, they are late. You could tell them, hey, party starts at 8, they show up at 11. Or hey, we're getting started for training at this time, they show up at that time. Nothing you can do about it. They're habitual people that are late. But one thing that I've learned is this. You take the good with the bad, and you just got to have a positive attitude. And I can tell you this, Derek, it's not something you're born with. It's something you have to work and build. It's a muscle you have to grow. So I want to give you an example. If you are ever late, or if you are ever caused in an issue at work or in life, the first thing you do is always take responsibility of it. If you're late to work and there's a lot of traffic, it's your fault that you didn't get up early and leave the house. Hey, I didn't pay a bill on time because of this. It's not your job's fault that you didn't get paid. It's your fault that you didn't store your money prior to that. You knew that bill was coming. Or hey, listen, I didn't hit my goal in business because of this. We are all hitting different aspects of life. You can either give great excuses or great reasons of why you're going to make it happen either way. So always have a positive mental attitude of what we're going to do to become successful. Second thing we want to cover is, guess what? Having a gratitude as a gateway to abundance. This right here is an amazing guy named Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar says this: gratitude is the healthiest human emotion. It stimulates more healing, more growth, and more energy than any other. It is a sign that other things are to come. See, I can tell you in this political climate, election is right around the corner. I don't care whether you're for the red or the blue. At the end of the day, people are leaning on hope that one of these candidates are going to change your life. But let me give you the fact of life. It doesn't matter what happens in the White House. It matters what happens in your house. So if we have an optimistic mentality of, hey, this person's going to change my life, what if we take responsibility and say, hey, listen, you know what? I can change my life. I'm grateful to be alive today. I'm grateful that I have the air in my lungs, the food in my fridge, the shelter over my home. I'm thankful for the education that I have. I'm thankful for the ability to go earn income. See, one thing about Zig Ziglar talks about is that if you help enough people get what they want, in return, Darlene, you'll get what you want. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is by having the mentality of growth and optimism. See, I'm going to give you the opposite of being grateful. It's being anxious and worrying. I like to use the phrase this: worrying is like sitting in a rocking chair. It'll give you something to do, but you ain't going nowhere. See, I'm a very faith-driven person. I think it's impossible to worry and worship at the same time. So as long as we are grateful, and you have an exercise of being grateful, I can tell you these are exercises you should do. You should start every day either looking in the mirror, praying to your God, journaling, writing what you're thankful for. I don't care if it's for 30 seconds. Hey, God, thank you for another day. All right, cool. Thank you, Creator. Hey, Mom, Dad, thanks for this. Hey, your spouse, thank you for that. Because what happens is I believe in universal laws, whether you get them from God, the Bible, I don't care what you get them from. I believe you get what you put out into the world. If you give out gratefulness, you're going to get that back in return. So Zig Ziglar again talks about being grateful is the gateway to abundance, right? All right. Let's talk about the third one. Oh, this is so huge. This is one of my favorite authors that you guys should have his books everywhere. John Maxwell. And he talks about the uncertainty of change, embracing the change of uncertainty. See, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Have you ever come across someone that is like super mature and they're young? It's like, man, you are really mature for your age. And then you come across someone that's a little bit more seasoned, and you're just like, what have you done with your life? You're not mature at all. You have these ignorant mentalities. So maturity is not an age. Maturity is an attitude. But so is growth. I want to give you a principle from the book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Give you a couple phrases from the book. It's by Steve Harvey Eker. Something Eker, right? In the book, Darlene, he talks about the poor, middle class, and wealthy all think differently when it comes to success and money. See, one thing about poor people is they talk about people. Middle class talk about the things that's happening. Rich people talk about ideas. So think about like this. If you've ever caught your phrase, someone ever trying to teach you something, and you catch yourself saying, hey, I already know that. I'm good. I already know that. Remember this phrase. Rich people constantly learn and grow. Poor people think they already know. Rich people constantly learn and grow. Poor people think they already know. Now, why is that important? Because when you're embracing change and uncertainty and you don't have the right guidance around you, it's easy to fall into a fear, scarcity mentality. Would you agree on that? Shake your head yes if you agree on that, right? And so we have to choose to be in growth mode at all times. Whether the market is collapsing or whether the stock market is roaring, whether the real estate market has a correction or your job is laying you off. Look at everything as an opportunity for you to grow and for you to take that next season of your life. So embracing change and uncertainty. I love that. John Maxwell's got incredible, he's written 90-something books where he now starts to quote himself. In this book, I said this. In this book, I said that. Amazing things, right? What about this? What about success comes in abundance? See, you know one thing that there is not a scarcity of is money. Money is a currency. When you break down the word currency, currency is something that is moving. So if you ever hear, well, there's not enough money out there. Well, that's a lie. Money is constantly driven and constantly made when transactions are happening. Money flows out of your hands faster than ever. You get your paycheck, all of a sudden you pay rent, you pay your mortgage, you pay your car insurance, pay all these bills. All these companies are making money. The only challenge most people have is they don't have enough currency coming to them. That makes sense? You know, in America, we're taught that time is money, right? Time is money only when you sell your time for money. Money's working 24 hours a day. And the great thing about money, Derek, it doesn't matter if it's working for you or working for someone you don't like. It's working 24 hours a day. The only thing you have to do is have a mindset is, there's so much of it, I just got to find a way to get mine. So Brian Tracy says, your ability to ask for and receive anything you want is in direct proportion to the willingness to give and share abundantly of yourself. Now, I always like to use this as an example because one thing about success in my life is relationships. There's been times I've never been financially wealthy, but I've been relationship wealthy and resource wealthy, where I can call on so-and-so because I need something, or so-and-so could call on me because they need something. Because we give so much without expectation that it comes in such abundance. And Darlene, people always ask me, Miguel, how do you have so much of this coming into you? Well, you don't understand how much I give to people without asking for anything in return. That is a key to success. You want to build so many great relationships and success that when it comes to you, you're just like willing to give, just willing to receive, right? Another principle, back to that book, The Secret to the Millionaire Mind. I want to help you. I want to help relieve somebody. This might be holding you back right here. If you've ever been given something and it's hard for you to receive, and you say, no, I don't really want that. I don't feel deserving of that. Do yourself a favor and do yourself a favor for that person. Stop doing that. When someone is giving you something, receive it openly. Now, Derek, let me tell you why that is. One of my principles of life that fills up my love bank is I love to give. If I'm giving you something and you tell me no, you've just turned down a blessing of me. I don't get to give you what makes me happy. Does that make sense? So be open to receive. So tomorrow when you're walking around and someone says, hey, listen, I got $100 for you. Or you see on these social media challenges and people say, hey, do you want to double it up or do you want to give it to the next person? I don't know if you see those things on TikTok and Instagram. Nah, you give it to me or double it up for the next person, but I hope the next one comes around. Have the abundant mentality when that comes to life, right? Now, I think you're going to love this next one. I kind of touched on it already. The role of innovation of abundance. This right here used to be the CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz. He says, in times of uncertainty, we must innovate and adapt to stay relevant. In today's world, well, you better use social media, you better be using AI, you better be using all these principles of what it's going to take to help you grow yourself. Because think of it like this. If you check your previous self in 2008, 2009, there was the biggest economic collapse called the Great Recession. Starbucks, Howard Schultz was on the board. He says, I'm going to give up my position on the board and I'm going to go back into being a CEO. And what they did is, he says, I'm going to visit every store that is not performing the best. We got to find out what's happening in our markets and how can we innovate ourselves. How do we get back on track to where this recession is done? We're surviving and we're thriving. That make sense? I'm going to share a story with you. Another fun story of Starbucks. So Starbucks, Howard Schultz, no longer the CEO, they hired a CEO that used to be a consultant. He was a consultant What he did is he says, okay, you've been successful in telling other people how to run their business. Starbucks hires him to be their new CEO. Now, Darlene, I don't know about you. When I hear a CEO, they're working harder than everybody. They're not the person just luring at the top, riding it to the wave. I know that's a facade, what most people think about CEOs, that they're just sitting back or relaxing. CEOs drive the train. If they're not thriving, if the business isn't going well, it falls on that person, okay? So what happened is Starbucks hired this CEO, and he goes home at 6 o'clock. He says, if you're gonna call me about anything, it better be super important, because at 6:01, I'm not taking your call. And then every level in leadership below him started to do the exact same thing. And Starbucks stock tanked like that, like dramatically. I'm talking billions of dollars it dropped. And the stockholders and the board of Starbucks is saying, hey, we got to do something. They went out and they recruited the Chipotle CEO. The moment they got rid of him, got new leadership in, overnight their stock went up $20 billion. You know what that said? Is that the shareholders and the company felt confident in that leader. So in times of innovation and uncertainty, you have to be willing to grind and go through it. Derek, I can tell you in my business, there's been times when I don't want to show up. There's been times when life is punching me in the face. There's been times where we're thriving and I don't have to show up to a meeting. I'm making money whether I show up or not. But if I don't show up for the people who are not winning, that's selfish. If I don't show up when I don't want to show up, it's selfish. Not just selfish to my team, but it's selfish to myself and my family. Because would you agree, Darlene, your family's counting on you? They're looking at you. Those bills are relying on you. And if you have an excuse, if you have the audacity to give yourself an excuse to not show up, you need to have a conversation with yourself. Because again, we're talking about the abundant mentality. And if it feels like if I'm talking to somebody, I'm hoping this actually wakes somebody up in life, right? The next one, let's talk about the abundance in relationship. I think you guys might recognize him, right? One of the wealthiest people in the world. His stock just went up, I think $40 billion, no, either 20 or $40 billion the other day, because he's built money. See, the one thing that Elon Musk talked about is this. The only thing that matters is that I think you should be able to do something you want to do even if it's hard. Have you ever not wanted to do something like go to work, but you know you still got family counting on you? Have you ever not wanted to go work out, but you know you need to go work out? Derek, I know that's never happened to you. I know you're an all-star on your football team, and you always want to show up to training. I'm telling you today, I've been in the gym consistently for 3 weeks, and tomorrow will mark week 4. There's days I don't want to go, but I actually feel more motivated today and consistent with myself, and I'm proud of myself because I'm showing up when I don't want to. But I feel better after leaving the gym than I did going into it because I'm working on myself. And then I'm going to cover a couple different people right here and wrapping this up. Mindfulness and abundance. See, Buddha says the mind is everything. What you think, you become. There's another phrase, you become what you think about. If you focus on negative, you attract more negative. If you focus on positive, you attract more positive. I think those are universal laws. But when it comes to abundantness, how are you thinking? Your mindset is the foundation of your life. What do you feed yourself every day? If you get with me, I'll send you every audiobook I have and every ebook I have for free. I will feed you audio and things that will work on your mindset. And let me give you the good news. Everything to learn how to become successful has already been written. We just don't have enough readers. Everything that it takes to become successful has already been recorded. We just don't have enough listeners. You have to be the one to digest this information and then apply it. Because how good would it be for me if I'm watching all these videos on working out, but I don't actually go to the gym? Nothing. Or how about the other percent of working out? How worthless is it for me to go to the gym, but I'm still eating trash late at night? Becoming successful in working out is 20% working out, 80% diet. So I'm working on the diet. I'm driving past all these fast food restaurants on the way home saying, nope, nope, nope. Stay focused, Miguel. Get your protein in, less carbs, less sugar. Just stay focused. But did you know, Darlene, the more and more I'm learning about my own health, the more conscious I'm being about what I'm putting in my body. Crazy. I'm 34 years old. I've known all this stuff for years. But I'm now in the position, season-wise, where I'm accepting it. Let me give you another phrase so you don't beat yourself up. The teacher will appear when the student is ready. When you are ready, the teachers will appear to teach you how to do it. The problem is most of us are never in a mindset of where you're ready to learn, ready to grow. I want you to do yourself a favor if you are a parent. If you have to drive your kids to school, I encourage you that you do this. Play this game with your kids. There's something called the reticular activator system. This is a radar of where you're looking for something. Darlene, shake your head if you've ever heard of this. Have you ever heard of the reticular activator system or no? Derek, you ever heard of it? Reticular activator system. What about you, Kenny? You ever heard of it? Okay. Let me give you an example of how it works. If you've ever been in the car, so let's just say I've got a Toyota. You ever been in your car and the moment you bought the car, you see it everywhere? Guess what? You are now aware of where that have already been there. That's the same thing with opportunity. If you're not looking for it, you're going to bypass it. If you're not looking for ways to make money, you're going to miss it. And if you're not coachable and reaching out to your coach, you're going to miss it. Though that's the one thing about our organization is that we're running with or without you. That's the mentality that we have because that's what it takes to build a championship team. And in the last couple of ones, we want to talk about overcoming limiting beliefs. Whether you think, Henry Ford says this, whether you think you can or whether you think you can, you're right. Henry Ford is the founder of Ford. We would not have the car system we have today if it wasn't for Henry Ford. Henry Ford's children try to put him in an insane asylum because they thought he was nuts. Sometimes you have to be the crazy one in your family to break those generational curses, to break those poverty cycles, to break those the cycles that's holding you back to becoming successful financially. So Darlene, I always tell people this. When they give me an excuse, okay. When people give me the reasons of why they're going to be successful, okay. I let their actions prove themselves versus me try to convince them to do something or not. Because if I have to convince you to go to work, or if I have to convince you to come work with us, what am I doing? We're grown adults. You know what you need to do. You need to get your license. You know you need to set appointments. You know you need to go do this. Same thing with our business. Visions and goal setting for abundance. Wayne Dwyer says this. You cannot always control what goes on the outside, but you can always control what goes on the inside. Again, that goes back to this. The things that you can control in our business is your attitude and your activity. You can control how you think. You might have to work on it. It's a muscle. But you can also control the activity that you want to become successful. If you're not making enough money, you need to set more appointments. If you're not growing a team, you need to talk to more people. That's simple. You talk to more people, you close more sales, you get more referrals, and you equals more cash flow. Our business ain't hard. Our business is so simple that, Darlene, when I look at people and they say, hey, listen, Miguel, I want to go do this, I'll give you every step you needed to do, and then I'll check in on you a couple days from now. Hey, did you do the first thing? No, I didn't get to that. Guess what? It's like playing tennis. I hit the ball, I'll serve the ball to you. If you don't pick it up, I can't play with you. I'm not gonna, hey, pick up the ball. No, I'm just gonna move on to the next field. See if they hit the ball. Oh, they hit the ball back. Oh, he doesn't know how to swerve. He doesn't know how to hit yet, but I can work with that person because they're willing to serve. They're willing to hit back. If you don't have the little things, it's hard to train the big things. I heard a great phrase from our pastor today. If you are too big to clean the stage, you'll never, if you're too little, too big to clean the stage, you're way too small to get on the stage. It was something like that. Show me how you do one thing, I'll show you how you do everything. And it all starts with having a mental, positive, abundant mentality. The one thing I can tell you about my coaching, Darlene, I'll hear you out. You got a problem, you got a challenge, okay, I'll hear you out. What's the solution though? The moment someone's just complaining to complain, bro, good luck. Let me know when you're done with that. Because your energy sucks it away from somebody else that deserves it. And I'm telling you, there are people in your life you need to do that to. The law of association, Derek, is just as powerful as the law of disassociation. You don't mean you have to cut out the bad people in your life completely, but you need to limit the access to them. You need to plug into our trainings. You need to be plugging into the audios. Everything we give you, you need to become obsessed with it. Because if you think you'll ever become successful in anything without being borderline obsessed, like a maniac with it, you're lying to yourself. If you want to be the top 1% of any industry, you need to become obsessed. I know obsessed is probably a weird word for people to hear. I'm obsessed with my family. I'm obsessed with my faith. I'm now obsessed with my fitness. I've always been obsessed with my finances though. I always tell people, whether I was prospering or whether I was struggling, you would never know. Because I'm mentally